This is an explanation for the lesson plan using a historical or cultural impact. I'm going to go through the template used for this lesson plan. So you can just use this format and fill in your information right here in the second column. So the first thing that you're going to do is select a historical cultural impact that you're going to be teaching and the focus of the lesson. And then you're going to indicate what grade level. So the points that you'll receive here are going to be determined of whether or not you have an appropriate grade level for the impact that you're choosing to teach. Okay, then you're going to select an MCCRS standard, and I'm going to, if you click on this, it will open a link, which is right here. So these are the standards for school improvement in Maryland. And let's say you will probably select a social studies standard. So you're going to want to go to this area. And then you're also going to choose a literacy standard. You may want to choose that from the English language arts or from the literacy in history or social studies. So whichever one makes the most sense to you, but you'll choose an MCCRS standard and put that in this blank right here. You're going to write an objective. You're going to write at least 2 objectives. So again, one of them will be literacy and one of them will be content. And each objective has to have an active verb that can be measured with 1 or more qualifiers. So here's an example. You might say 80% of the students will be able to orally explain 3 reasons why lack of transportation in inner cities impacts access to quality education. So your active verb is orally explain. That can be measured. What can be measured? 3 reasons stated orally. So you can, with a checklist, say, yes, they stated 1 reason, they stated 2 reasons, they stated 3 reasons. That can be measured. And then the qualifier would be the 80%. So your expectation is that 80% of your students would be able to achieve this. You could also give a qualifier at the other end where you could say that your students will be able to orally explain 3 reasons why lack of transportation in inner cities impacts access to quality education. And then you might say with 60% accuracy or 70 or 90, whatever it is that you think would make sense at that point. You'll list the materials that you need to teach this lesson as well as the procedures that you as a teacher would take to do the lesson, and then you would do an assessment. So your assessment, you want to be sure that the assessment matches the objective. So if you have this objective that I've listed up here, you may say students will share in a small group their reasons for transportation, blah, blah, blah. I will use a checklist to assess as many students as possible. So in assessment, we know that we can't always assess every student, but over time, you get an idea of how many students are able to do the objectives that you are setting forth. And then you need to put a rationale. So your rationale explains why you would want to teach this lesson and why you think it's appropriate for the grade chosen. So each of these parts on your lesson plan is given a point value, and those points add up to 50 points. If you have questions, please submit your questions to the question forum on Moodle.